Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism. No contribution with this videos. I'm all out of sponsors and everything like that. But this popped up and I wanted to address it. But before I get to the content, please go to the description box, click on the Rumble link. I ask everybody to watch over there, so I'm still monetized there, and it'll help out with the channel. So based on my last video about the Minnesota school shooting, I want to address one of the comments, and I'm not attacking the person at all. So it's not that, it's not retarded of the day, and it is nothing like that. But it's this comment here from Manic Fugistate, I guess. I don't know. Sorry. Manic Fugistate. The only thing I worry about if they bring back asylums and mental institutions is that they wouldn't just put people who are actually insane in there. They'd probably just throw anyone in there that is a free thinker and isn't pro-establishment. None of the actual insane people would be in there. It would just be Gen Z white men who didn't go to college because they're a threat to the free world. And I understand, believe me, I understand that thinking. I do. If you just reopen, same thing with with the flag burning, you arrest people for that. Where does it stop? It's a slippery slope. My thing is, I agree with you on principle on freedom of speech, but where we are realistically with it is people are in jail for prison for 15 years for burning pride flags and doing donuts on pride crosswalks. So again, the issue there is these people don't learn unless you make them pay a consequences. That's it. If there's no consequences, they're just going to move on to the next thing. So your concern here about regular people being thrown into insane asylums is a valid one. It's a valid one, except for the point when you consider they've been doing that anyway for the last 50 years. See, the people who have been throwing the non-crazy people who have been victimizing the victims of narcissism and narcissistic abuse, whether it be personally or politically, understand when they closed the asylums, it was those people who have been sending you there for the last 50 years who used to be in the asylums. See, why the uprising of narcissism, why it's become so rampant in this country especially in the last 40, 50 years relates directly to the closing of the mental institutions. Because again, they thought they could replace mental institutions with SSRIs. And you can't. Because an SSRI does nothing for a cluster B personality disorder because it's a conscious decision. It's not some chemical imbalance, and chemical imbalances are pretty much aren't real anyway. In some instances, in schizophrenia and stuff like that, sure. But these chemical imbalances aren't real. They aren't real in the first place. So it wasn't like narcissism and cluster Bs and the sociopathy and borderlines didn't exist back then. Oh, they existed. But what happened is when you start having a spiral out, you start having one of your narcissistic rage outs, you ruin a birthday, you're ruining Christmas, you're ruining holidays, you're ruining shit for everybody. Your family used to stick you in an institution. And you used to go there and finger pain, and you'd sit there for a couple months until you started acting right. Then you came out until you started up again. And thanks to Geraldo Rivera and his Willowbrook expose. And Willowbrook was a horrible place. Don't get me wrong. It was a horrible place. They were doing bad shit there. Abusing the patients, but they threw the baby out with the bathwater on that. Threw open the assignment. This is what they do. They look for any tragedy they can exploit And then they use that as the fulcrum point for societal change. And then they ram it down your throat. And if you even question it, you then become the problem. We got that. The reason why so many people have been felt victimized to this type of abuse is because the people who used to be in the institutions, okay, are now sending you to the institutions and are now running the institutions. They have medical degrees now. They're transing your kids. They're telling them, no, you were really a girl. You're really a boy. You got to take these drugs. We got to cut things off of you. There's more to it than just throwing open the doors and rebuilding the asylums. There's more to it, because in order to do that, you have to be to a point, and I think society is, where they've said enough. Enough. We're fatigued. We're not listening to any of you. You're all mentally disturbed. You're all going in. You support this. If you support this, if you want to do this, if you sign off on your kids for doing this, if you prescribe drugs for this, if you perform operations for this, you're going in a criminally insane mental institution. Now, there needs to be two different types of institutions. One for the victims, the children that were brainwashed into this and destroyed. No, they go in for care and mental health. The parents, the teachers, the doctors, the pharmacists, the pharmaceuticals, the politicians. No. You're going to a facility for the criminally insane. You're going to a prison. You're going to a mental hospital prison. That's where they go. So yeah, you can't just throw open the doors and reopen these institutions. And you wouldn't be able to just reopen these institutions without a large cultural buy-in and a large political buy-in. And in order for that to happen, we have to collectively, the majority, say enough and call this out for what it is. Unafraid. You don't care what they're going to call you, what kind of ist or racist or trans, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Their words are meaningless, because they're cornered, dying animals, and this is when they're most dangerous. This isn't some fantasy pipe dream. No, this has to happen. These people, and it was understood 40, 50, 60 years ago. These sociopaths need to be removed and segregated from society. Not treated unfairly, not abused like they were in Willowbrook, especially not the victims of it. The criminal ones, you could treat them a little harsher. Not violate their civil rights, but These issues, this narcissism epidemic would not be possible without the closing of the mental institutions. They want to replace mental institutions with SSRIs and dangerous drugs, and we are reaping the consequences of those decisions. The people that used to be the residents of these mental institutions are now running them. They're your judges, they're your lawyers, they're your doctors, they're your NGOs, they're all of it, they're your politicians. We're an SSRI society. And until you deal with that, until that is dealt with, it's just going to carry on. The good thing is we're at our peak level of fatigue. And now is the time that most of this stuff, you're going to start seeing changes, because you can't. They're tripling down in Minnesota. Oh, we got to protect the trans community. We got to protect. Again, they're the victims. They go and shoot a bunch of children praying, and yet they're still the victims. Not only the shooters, the enablers, they have to go too. So you can't. So he's right. So Manic, I'm just going to call him Manic. You're right about your concern. You are. But what you have to realize is, okay, the people that enabled all this, they're going in too. The mental institutions, they won't open. They won't open unless you get cultural buy-in and political buy-in. And for order that to happen, they're going to have to admit to the fatigue. So, and I think we're almost there. So I wouldn't worry as much. It is a concern. I'm not saying just throw that concern away, because you're not going to be able to just scoop them all up in one fell swoop as much as you would love to. Unbelievable. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that makes some sense. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you want to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to subscribe to both my channels on Rumble. If you haven't watched the video over there, please do. Even a click helps. Follow me on X and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.